to get his illegitimate son appointed the crown prince's study companion. My husband smashed our son's hand with a hammer. The palace was selecting companions to study alongside the crown prince, and our son ranked far ahead of all other candidates. Yet the day before he was to compete in an archery contest, my husband claimed he needed to trim a table corner and told our son to hold a wooden stake steady. By accident, he swung the hammer straight down onto our boy's hand. In an instant, our son clutched his injury and rolled screaming on the ground. After the physician examined him, he pronounced the hand ruined. Our son would never draw a bow or arrow again for the rest of his life. My husband knelt outside my door, begging for forgiveness frantically, putting on a perfect show of remorse for his mistake. Our son tugged at my sleeve, speaking with unnatural maturity. "Mother, this is not father's fault. It is simply my fate. I can give up archery entirely. Please tell father to rise." I softened in the end and let him enter my chambers. Once my son fell asleep, I tidied myself up, retrieved the princess token I had stowed at the bottom of my chest, and headed for the palace. The Imperial Academy was the most prestigious school in the realm, a place my son had long dreamed of attending. As his mother, I resolved to find a way to fulfill his wish for him. But just as my carriage halted at the palace gates, I spotted my husband walking hand in hand with the son of his unrequited first love, wearing a triumphant, pleased grin. "See how clever your father is. I've secured you the position of the crown prince's companion. Tomorrow I will formally propose to bring you and your mother into our manor. I'll drive that frumpy wife and your crippled half-brother out for good. Once you are the crown prince's companion, your father will rely on you to climb steadily up the official ranks." I tightened my grip around the princess token. "Climb up the ranks. In your wildest dreams." I did not return home until early the next morning. Stepping through the door, I found Cui Jincheng sitting at the dining table with Lin Hanyu and her son. My own son, Cui Ping'an, cowered alone in the corner. Seeing his red-rimmed eyes, I knew he had suffered unfair grievances. "You finally dragged yourself out of bed." Cui Jincheng slammed his chopsticks hard against the table. "There is not a single warm meal in this house. What kind of wife and mother are you?" Faced with his accusations, I silently walked over and pulled my son protectively into my arms. My silence only emboldened Cui Jincheng further. "What? Do you choose to ignore everything I say now? Can you not see Hanyu and I are starving?" I then pretended to notice Lin Hanyu for the first time, lifting my gaze to stare coldly at Cui Jincheng. "Who is this woman? Why is she inside our household?" A smug look crossed Cui Jincheng's face. "This is the widow of my late friend. Before he passed away, he entrusted her and her son to my care. From now on, they are as my wife and child, and you must treat them kindly." I fixed my eyes on him. "As your wife and child, are you saying you intend to marry her?" Caught off guard by my blunt question, Cui Jincheng stiffened for a split second. "Since you have seen through it, I may as well admit it openly." He reached out to take Lin Hanyu's hand beside him. "I will marry her, and I will do so in grand fashion. I will welcome Hanyu as my primary wife with an 8 palanquin procession and full traditional betrothal rites. Her son will also take my surname Cui. And from this day onward, I will have 2 sons of my own in the Cui household." Memories flooded back of my own wedding to Cui Jincheng years ago. No grand palanquin, no formal betrothal documents. Only his empty promise to love and cherish me for a lifetime. Lin Hanyu turned to me with a saccharine smile. "Sister-in-law, rest assured, I am not here to destroy this family, I am here to join it. Marrying brother Cui will even benefit you greatly." Her gaze drifted down to my son's bandaged hand. "After all, my son is destined to be the crown prince's companion. He will surely help brother Cui rise high in official standing. Even your son with the injured hand could tag along and work as a lowly attendant to a nobleman. Would that not suffice?" I stared at her coldly. Her words were a deliberate stab straight to my heart. A cultivated gentleman mastered the 6 arts, and the crown prince's companion was required to excel in all 6 disciplines to stay at the prince's side and become his trusted right-hand man in the future. My son had outshone every rival and was originally the top candidate for the post. Yet this despicable pair had fractured his hand bone. And now she dared to humiliate my boy so brazenly. I let out a cold laugh, holding back my burning rage. Then you are bound to be disappointed. Your son may not get the position of Crown Prince's companion at all. As if your son stands a chance instead. Lin Hanyu's voice turned shrill instantly. Just look at your boy, cannot even hold chopsticks to eat, let alone draw a bow. My son took first place in the mounted archery competition and earned high praise from the Crown Prince. His appointment as the prince's companion and subsequent rise to prominence is a foregone conclusion. I checked my son's body thoroughly and breathed a sigh of relief when I found no fresh injuries. Seeing how protective I was over my child, Lin Hanyu sneered. The two of you simply lack the fate for such fortune. You would do well to plan ahead and let your son work as a servant boy for mine. My son might even toss him scraps of food to survive. At the mention of food, her son Lin Chen slammed his empty bowl onto the floor. Why has no one brought my meal yet? I am going to be the Crown Prince's companion. Are you trying to starve me? Enraged by his outburst, Cui Jincheng kicked my leg hard. What are you standing there gawking for? Hurry and cook for Chinner. If you let him go hungry, you will live to regret it. I stumbled and fell onto the floor from the blow. Cui Jincheng then grabbed our son's injured hand roughly and dragged him aside. The pain made my son cry out loudly. Watching my panicked reaction, Cui Jincheng sneered. Still dawdling? Get cooking for Chinner at once, or we may decide your son's hand is not worth keeping at all. Cui Jincheng. Pingyan is your son too. How can you treat him like this? Only my Chinner is worthy of being my son and the Crown Prince's companion. Li Huayue. Stop your pointless chatter and cook, or your son will truly lose his hand. Biting back my fury at his insolent arrogance, I turned and walked into the kitchen. Soon after, I set out bowls of congee and side dishes onto the table. The young Lin Chen wrinkled his nose at the sight. What is this slop? I am to be the emperor's companion. How dare this old hag insult me with such inferior food? With that, he lifted the bowl and hurled the boiling congee straight at me. Scalding liquid splashed over my skin, drawing an involuntary cry of pain from my lips. Lin Chen clapped his hands and laughed. This is how you discipline insolent servants like you. I am the future Crown Prince's companion, so my meals must come with meat, vegetables and soup from now on. Learn not to cut corners with my food again. Cui Jincheng turned to me sharply. Chinner is right. From this day forward, Hanyu shall be the mistress of this household. And you are demoted to concubine. Kneel down and apologize to Chinner this instant. Humiliation burning in my chest, I lifted my head. I had planned to reveal my true identity once the imperial edict arrived at noon, but his relentless bullying pushed me to raise my voice sharply, every word firm and solemn. Do you dare mistreat my son and me without fear of punishment from the reigning emperor? Cui Jincheng. Let me tell you plainly, I am the biological elder sister of His Imperial Majesty. If you continue to show me disrespect, do not blame me for casting aside our past affection. The emperor's sister, Li Huayue. Have you lost your senses? Cui Jincheng and Lin Hanyu burst into mocking laughter. Cui Jincheng stared down at me disdainfully. Has the hot congee addled your brain? If you were a princess, that would make me a royal consort. I know exactly what you are. I pulled you half dead from the riverside years ago. You were nothing but a beggar. How dare you claim royal lineage? Pure delusion. If you were truly a princess, you could have secured your son a place as the prince's companion or entry to the Imperial Academy with a single word. You are merely a low-born village woman. And now you dare fabricate a royal title to elevate yourself. His words stabbed into my heart like 1,000 sharp blades. Lin Hanyu suddenly lifted her skirt and spun once beside him. Brother Cui, look at me. Am I not far more beautiful than her? Do I not look more fit to be a princess? Cui Jincheng wrapped an arm around her waist and pressed a kiss to her lips. Indeed, my Hanyu has the beauty to rival the moon and flowers. A true princess's bearing. Unlike this haggard woman before us, who lacks all feminine grace, yet dares to claim she is imperial royalty. I squeezed my eyes shut in agony and wiped the congee off my clothes. 7 years prior, my father the late emperor passed away, and the treasonous Prince Rui staged a palace coup. I fled the palace with my younger brother, the current emperor, blending into the crowd to escape. The rebels spotted us and gave relentless chase. To draw their pursuit away, I hid my brother inside a haystack before running alone toward the riverbank. My brother was rescued and returned to the palace, while I jumped into the frigid river, only to be pulled out and saved by Cui Jincheng. Cui Jincheng nursed me back to health for several days. He was a talented young scholar, yet desperately poor at that time. His beloved Lin Hanyu was already married to another man. I watched him wallow in grief day after day and sought to comfort him. As we spent more time together, affection grew between us. I never told him my true identity, having grown weary of palace intrigue and power struggles. I believed Cui Jincheng was capable, certain he would rise through the official ranks in time. In truth, my brother the emperor had quietly pulled strings behind the scenes to elevate him from an unknown nobody to a fifth-rank official within just a few short years. Yet now he treated me with such appalling cruelty. Enough of your act, a princess. You strike me as nothing but a fool. Kneel before Chinner right now, or I will strip you of even your status as a concubine. With that, Cui Jincheng kicked the backs of my knees, forcing me to collapse onto the ground, watching me sprawled there in utter disgrace. Lin Chen clapped gleefully. Well done, father. Beat this ugly old wife. She dares pretend to be a princess. Even real princesses would show me respect as the crown prince's companion, let alone this peasant woman. Seeing this, my son hurried over to help me up. But Lin Chen seized his injured hand and twisted it backward violently. Lin Hanyu praised her son proudly. What strength my boy has, truly worthy to become the crown prince's companion. I lunged forward in panic to shield my son. But Cui Jincheng landed another kick straight to my abdomen. Doubled over in agony, I glared up at him. I have told you, I am the emperor's own elder sister. Cui Jincheng, you will regret how you have wronged me. Regret. Cui Jincheng snorted coldly, pulling a sheet of paper and tossing it in my face. Do you think I dare not divorce you? You are a discarded wife starting this moment. Keep dreaming of being a princess. I picked up the paper, the character's divorce decree emblazoned across its top. You mean to divorce me? I let out a bitter cold laugh. Cui Jincheng pulled Lin Hanyu tightly against his chest. Is it not obvious? I married you once only because you required no betrothal or grand wedding, and the woman I loved was already wed to another. Now that my beloved has returned to my side, I will tell you the whole truth. Chinner is my biological son with her. With Chinner set to become the crown prince's companion, my future advancement is assured. You were a beggar when I fished you from the river. Why should I let you occupy the position of primary wife any longer? I gripped the divorce decree and laughed coldly. Cui Jincheng, your heart is crueler than I ever imagined. I pulled my son close beside me. Very well. I will leave, but I am taking my son with me. He is a cripple anyway. Take him if you wish. Lin Hanyu raked her eyes over me with malicious intent. But every garment you wear was purchased by Brother Cui. Since you are leaving, you must return everything he has given you. Before I could react, Lin Hanyu grabbed my arm and struck me hard across the face. Then began tearing the clothes from my body. Stop this. How am I to show myself in public like this? That is exactly my intent. Brother Cui, come help me. Lin Hanyu called for Cui Jincheng, who ripped the hairpins from my hair and assisted her in stripping away my last undergarment. Lin Chen followed suit, trying to tear the clothes off my son as well. Suddenly Lin Chen let out a sharp yell. What is this? How does this little bastard own such a fine jade pendant? He snatched the jade pendant straight from my son's neck. My son reached to grab it back, only to be kicked roughly to the ground. This jade is exquisite. I have only seen pieces like this on the crown prince. Speak up. Did you steal this from His Highness? You met the crown prince previously, so you dared pilfer his belongings. Lin Chen raised his foot to kick my son again, and I threw myself over my boy to protect him. I told you I am a princess. This pendant was bestowed upon me by the late Empress Dowager. What do you think you are doing? Do you not fear imperial punishment for publicly humiliating mother and son in your courtyard today? For a moment, hesitation flickered across Cui Jincheng's face, but Lin Chen spat contemptuously. Lies. You are no princess at all. I will beat this thieving brat and claim a reward from the crown prince for catching a thief. He grabbed a wooden stick nearby and charged toward us, ready to strike when a shrill voice cut through the air. Imperial edict arrives. Lin Chen instantly dropped his stick, preening with arrogance. This must be the edict appointing me as the crown prince's companion. Overjoyed, Cui Jincheng and Lin Hanyu knelt hastily to receive the chief eunuch bearing the imperial order. The eunuch bowed slightly in my direction. Leaning close to Cui Jincheng's ear, Lin Hanyu whispered, "Being the crown prince's companion carries great prestige. Even the emperor's most trusted chief eunuch shows deference to our chinner." Cui Jincheng's grin stretched wide with delight. But in the next instant, his smile froze rigid on his face. The eunuch read aloud. "By the mandate of heaven, the emperor proclaims, Cui Ping'an of the Cui household is gifted and wise, bearing the demeanor of a gentleman. He is hereby granted permission to enter the palace to serve as the crown prince's study companion." Once the edict was finished, total silence fell over the courtyard. I picked up my scattered clothes and redressed myself properly. Lin Hanyu turned to the eunuch, utterly confused. "Eunuch, there must be a mistake. The companion position was meant for my son Lin Chen. He scored top marks in every contest, while Cui Ping'an injured his hand and never even entered the archery tournament. Are you certain there has been no error?" "Indeed, eunuch," Lin Chen chimed in. "I was meant to be the crown prince's companion, not Cui Ping'an. His hand is ruined. He is unqualified for the post. I deserve this appointment." Annoyed by their bickering, the eunuch frowned deeply. "You understand nothing. This is His Majesty's personal decision. Not just anyone may serve as the crown prince's companion. If my memory serves, Madam Lin and your son Lin Chen are not members of the Cui household, are they, Master Cui? You already have a lawful wife." Flustered by the eunuch's obvious displeasure, Cui Jincheng hurried to explain. "This is the widow of my deceased friend, whom I have undertaken to support." He turned to the eunuch. "Your honor, is His Majesty's ruling truly final? Ping'an's hand is crippled and unsuitable for this role. Might you speak with the emperor to appoint Lin Chen instead?" As he spoke, Cui Jincheng slipped 2 heavy silver ingots into the eunuch's sleeve. The eunuch let out a cold chuckle, weighing the silver in his palm. "Master Cui, do you believe such a small bribe will persuade me to intercede on your behalf? Furthermore, if I am not mistaken, Cui Ping'an is your own biological son. Lin Chen is merely the son of your late friend. Would you neglect your own flesh and blood to this extreme?" Embarrassed, Cui Jincheng fell silent. Lin Hanyu stepped forward, plucking the golden hairpin from her head and pressing it into the eunuch's palm. "Eunuch, Lin Chen will officially join the Cui family once I remarry Master Cui. Both boys are equally dear to him. Cui Ping'an is simply unfit for this position." The eunuch smiled faintly, pocketing the silver and hairpin before walking toward me. "Your Highness the eldest princess, what would you have me do with this matter? His Majesty has instructed me to unconditionally uphold whatever decision you make today." At the title eldest princess, every shade of color washed across Cui Jincheng's face. You truly are a princess." He stared at me in stunned disbelief. Lin Hanyu's eyes went wide, and she stepped backward, pulling Lin Chen behind her protectively. "Why did you never tell me you were royal? I slaved away at my studies for years. You claimed you loved me and pitied my struggles. If you were a princess, why did you never use your influence to advance my career, forcing me to scrape and claw my way only to 5th rank? Now you reveal your royal status to me." His words crushed the little remaining warmth in my heart. The very first thought crossing his mind upon learning my identity was resentment that I had not leveraged my title to pave his path to power. I let out a cold laugh at him. "Do you truly believe you climbed to 5th rank solely through your own hard work and luck? Cui Jincheng, if you had not deliberately crippled our son's hand, you could have risen to 2nd rank within 2 or 3 years. Do you think I never lifted a finger to help you? Without my covert support, you would still be stuck as a lowly 9th rank county clerk in the countryside." I took my son's hand and stepped behind the chief eunuch. "Eunuch, Cui Jincheng once saved my life, and out of gratitude for that single deed, I shall spare him from punishment. But from this day forward, His Majesty must withdraw all imperial favor from him entirely. As for Lin Chen, he shall never be permitted to come within close proximity of the crown prince for the rest of his life. Hua Yue, how could you treat me this way? Seeing I meant every word, Cui Jincheng rushed forward to grab my sleeve. We are husband and wife, you cannot abandon me like this. Panic crept into his voice. I know you are only speaking in anger, husband and wife. I cut him off sharply. Are we still? You handed me a signed divorce decree moments ago. If you have divorced your wife, what marriage exists between us? I held the divorce paper up directly before his eyes, panicking at the sight of the document. Cui Jincheng snatched it from my hand and stuffed it whole into his mouth. I stared in shock as he chewed and swallowed the entire decree. What divorce decree? I never gave you such a thing. My lady, if you are the eldest princess, that makes me your royal consort. I sneered. Do you think swallowing the paper erases what you have done? I spare you from execution only out of gratitude for you saving my life once. After you and Lin Han, you humiliated my son and me terribly today. Otherwise, you would have died 100 deaths over. With that, I took my son's arm, and escorted by the eunuch, boarded the carriage to return to the palace. My brother the emperor was overjoyed to welcome me back. He had invited me to resume my title as eldest princess years prior. Yet I had declined. Weary of palace scheming, I had believed I could live a quiet, peaceful life with Cui Jincheng, only to stumble into an even crueler trap, one that nearly ruined my son Pingin's hand entirely. Pingin had always longed to study at the Imperial Academy, an institution reserved for imperial kin and children of high-ranking officials, with the crown prince's companions selected from noble households. As his mother, my son could have gained entry effortlessly. Yet my own choices forced him to compete against countless others for a spot. Staring at his heavily bandaged hand, I was filled with regret. Thankfully, imperial physicians confirmed his injury could fully heal. Lifting a huge weight from my chest, my brother formally announced my identity as eldest princess to the entire court, and I moved into the princess manor built for me years ago with my son. As my son's hand gradually recovered, I returned to the privileged, leisurely life I had known in my youth. When I was married to Cui Jincheng, I had labored endlessly cooking, washing and tending to his household. Looking back now, all my devotion had been utterly wasted. For more than a month, Cui Jincheng made no attempt to contact me, and I paid him no mind. I spent my days reading storybooks, guiding my son in reading and calligraphy, living happily until one day a maid rushed in breathlessly. Your Highness. A man lingers outside the princess manor shouting he is your royal consort. The guards cannot drive him away. Would you come see for yourself? I hesitated, and my personal shadow guard Ying Qi appeared at my side instantly. Your Highness. I will accompany you. Ying Qi had served me since childhood. He had nearly died protecting me during the palace coup, and returned to my side once I came back to the palace. I finished the dessert on my table unhurriedly before strolling to the manor gates with Ying Qi. Sure enough, Cui Jincheng stood there arguing with the gate guards. I told you I am your princess's consort, the father of her son. Why will you not believe me? She nearly drowned in the river all those years ago, and I pulled her to safety. Do you understand what I did for her? I fixed him with a cold stare. Why do you omit how you nearly crippled our son for another woman's child? How you drafted a divorce decree to cast me aside as your lawful wife, and even ordered my clothes stripped from my body to shame me? Cui Jincheng stiffened for a moment, then hurried to my side, his tone soft and ingratiating. Hua Yue, my dear wife, are you still cross with me? I stayed away for a full month to let you calm down. Setting aside our marriage, I am your savior and the father of your child after all. Could you truly be so heartless as to cast me aside completely? As for Han Yu, her husband was my late friend, and I only wished to care for her in her vulnerability. Now that you are a princess of the realm, you stand above all others. Could you show mercy and grant her the title of commandery princess to protect her from greedy relatives coveting her family fortune? Even Ying Qi beside me let out a laugh at his shameless plea. Enraged, Cui Jincheng pointed at him aggressively. Who do you think you are to laugh? I am your princess's savior. You have no right to mock me. Ingqi shot him a frigid glance, then leaned in to whisper something in my ear. I could not help laughing at his words. Ingqi had always been outwardly cold yet wickedly clever. Cui Jincheng had spent years clinging to the claim that he saved my life. Now I would repay that supposed debt in full. I smiled at him. Since you regard yourself as my savior, I shall invite you inside to tour my princess manor. I led Cui Jincheng through the estate. He gawked and touched everything he saw, his face alight with greed and wonder. He hovered beside me, firing off endless demands non-stop. Have you prepared a study for me within the manor? I am a scholar and cannot live without books. Where are my handmaidens? I ought to have 6 maids to wait on me, plus personal manservants as well. Hanyu and her son suffer such hardship, why not bring them to live here too? This manor is far too large for just you alone. Passing a pond teeming with koi fish. He sighed wistfully. Hanyu has loved koi since childhood. Imagine how delighted she would be to see such a large school of beautiful fish. The moment his words faded, Ingqi kicked him hard square in the back, sending him plunging straight into the pond. The koi scattered in fright, leaving Cui Jincheng thrashing wildly in the water. Help me, Huayue. Save me quickly. Ingqi stood at the water's edge with his sword drawn, speaking clearly. You address her incorrectly, Master Cui. You must refer to her as Your Highness. After choking on several mouthfuls of pond water, Cui Jincheng scrambled to correct himself. Your Highness, I beg you to rescue me. I nodded. And Ingqi stepped lightly across the water to haul him out. Staring at his soaking, bedraggled form, I said coldly, You claim you once saved my life. Now I have pulled your worthless life from this pond. After all you have done to wrong me, it is gracious of me to spare you at all. Cui Jincheng stared at me in disbelief. I gestured faintly to Ingqi, before he could utter another word. Ingqi grabbed him by the scruff of his neck and tossed him bodily outside the manor gates. Cui Jincheng did not return for several days. Later, I took my son to the countryside for a leisurely outing. His hand had recovered greatly, so I marked off a patch of land for him to practice archery. I reclined on a lounge chair while Ingqi concealed himself up a nearby tree. Before long, Cui Jincheng crept furtively into view. He walked over to Pingyan, holding a paper bag of pastries. Pingyan, your father has come to see you. Have you missed me these past weeks? Ingqi jumped down from the tree to intervene, but I held him back. I wanted to see how my son would choose to respond. Pingyan glanced indifferently at Cui Jincheng, then picked up his bow and arrow. The pastries served in the princess manor are far finer than these. There is no need for you to bring them to me. A flicker of awkwardness crossed Cui Jincheng's face. True, you are a noble young lord now, so such treats seem trivial, yet they come from your father's heart. Father. Pingyan's tone turned mocking. You claim to be my father now. Where was that paternal love when you nearly smashed my hand to ruin for Lin Chen? Where was it when you let Lin Hanyu and her son humiliate mother and me endlessly? Now that I attend the Imperial Academy and mother has reclaimed her princess title, you suddenly remember you are my father. Chastened by his son's accusations, Cui Jincheng's face turned red then pale. I admit I made a terrible mistake. Must you disown me entirely for this single error? Have you forgotten all you were taught about respecting parents and elders? Pingyan raised his bow toward him. Respect is owed only to those worthy of reverence and righteous conduct. Where have I gone wrong? You betrayed your devoted wife. And even beasts do not harm their own young, yet you sought to cripple my hand. Even if you are my birth father, I ask you, where is the filial piety and virtue you once preached? Embarrassed to be lectured by his own son, Cui Jincheng flung his sleeve in anger and turned to leave. Pingyan called after him, and he spun around, hopefully only for my son to hold out the bag of pastries toward him. Take these back with you. Lin Hanyu and her son would likely enjoy them more. Pastries of such shoddy quality are never even served inside the princess manor. Mother would not give these as handouts to our servants. Trembling with rage at my son's rebuke, Cui Jincheng dared not retaliate. My son was now a recognized noble youth, far too powerful for him to offend. He stormed away in fury. I breathed a deep sigh of relief watching this unfold. I was grateful my son was not blindly obedient out of filial piety. capable of distinguishing right from wrong at such a young age. Proof my care and guidance had not been in vain. Word of my former marriage to Cui Jincheng quickly spread throughout the capital, along with all the cruel deeds he had committed against me. His official rank was already modest, and as the emperor's only elder sister, I was a highly sought-after figure every noble sought to curry favor with. 4 weeks afterward, Cui Jincheng's life grew miserable. Every official task he undertook met obstruction from superiors and subordinates alike, desperate to bribe his way out of trouble. He burned through all his household savings rapidly. Rumors spread that Lin Hanyu had pawned much of her dowry to support him, yet no amount of small bribes could sway officials determined to make his life difficult. I knew everything unfolding yet chose to watch silently, intervening not at all. One day, the emperor held a flower-viewing banquet ostensibly for floral appreciation, yet he had secretly invited numerous young noble lords for me to evaluate as potential new consorts. When the banquet began, I spotted Cui Jincheng seated at the table closest to my own. The moment he saw me, he shot to his feet. Before he could speak, the second young master of the Minister of Personnel stepped forward bearing a gift for me. Your Highness the eldest princess. This golden hairpin was handcrafted by my own hands. I hope it meets your liking. Poised and refined, the young noble made Cui Jincheng's face darken with jealousy instantly. Young sir, if you wish to converse with the princess, you ought to observe proper turn order. The second young master sized him up and down, realization dawning across his features. So it is you, the princess's former husband. Word has spread you abandoned your wife and child for another woman, breaking the princess's heart deeply. How dare you show your face before her now? Others overheard the commotion and craned their necks to watch. Soon more nobles recognized Cui Jincheng. Is that Master Cui? I heard he is quite infamous. He thinks saving the princess once grants him free rein to act unscrupulously. What is he doing pestering her highness? He already has his beloved first love. Why hound the princess when she chose to overlook his misdeeds out of kindness? Tormented by their jeers and accusations, Cui Jincheng fled the scene in disgrace. Once the banquet ended, Ying Qi and I sat together beneath a paulownia tree in the courtyard. I had drunk a little wine and felt lightheaded. Ying Qi's eyes suddenly reddened with emotion. If I had not been wounded during the palace coup all those years ago, I could have protected you, your highness, and spared you entanglement with such a worthless man. I met his gaze. Evening wind tangling strands of my black hair together. The air grew thick with quiet tension. Ying Qi had stood at my side since the age of 7. If the palace uprising had never happened, our relationship might have blossomed long ago. My lips drew close to his, nearly touching when Cui Jincheng leaped down from the top of the city wall, interrupting us. What do you two think you are doing? He glowered furiously at Ying Qi. You are merely a servant. How dare you harbor improper desires for the princess? I fixed him with a cold glare. Who are you calling a servant? He follows you everywhere, so naturally he is your servant. Hua Yue. I know you refuse to forgive me only because of Lin Hanyu. I can cast her aside entirely. I swear I will never see her again. Can you find it in your heart to pardon me and let me return to your side? These past weeks I have been targeted endlessly by officials, and my official title has been stripped. You cannot be so cruel. Look back at me. I beg you. I will never err again. Make me your royal consort once more. Not a chance. Before I could reply, Pingin's small figure stepped into view. Mother is the eldest princess now, and you only crave her wealth and status. I will never agree to you being mother's consort. I still remember clearly how you and Lin Hanyu's family bullied mother and me, when mother slaved away cooking, cleaning and tutoring you, supporting your rise in office. You doted on that mother and son so fiercely back then. Why should mother and I believe your empty promises to cut all ties with them now? You are nothing but a greedy, fortune-chasing scoundrel. With that, Pingin drew the new sword gifted to him by his imperial uncle and pointed its tip straight at Cui Jincheng. Get out of this princess manor at once. Mother may choose whoever she wishes as her consort. That is her right. If you set foot here again, I will strike you down every time I see you. Trembling with fright, Cui Jincheng fled the estate immediately. The next day, rumors regarding Lin Hanyu spread through the capital. It turned out her husband had never died at all. He had been caught in a violent storm while sailing overseas, surviving against all odds. Only to return home and discover his wife had taken up with another man and borne a son for him. Her husband's clan was a strict, wealthy merchant family, and he could never endure such humiliation. He brought men to retrieve Lin Hanyu and her son Lin Chen back to their household. Mother and son insisted Cui Jincheng had forced them into his household by abusing his fifth-rank official power. Enraged, her husband led a mob to Cui's residence, broke both of Cui Jincheng's legs, and ransacked the entire manor. Cui Jincheng tried to press charges, yet local officials knew his tarnished reputation and refused to acknowledge his lawsuit. Lin Hanyu had claimed her son Lin Chen belonged to Cui Jincheng to climb social status while believing her husband dead, and Cui Jincheng finally realized he had been deceived all along. Late one night, he sneaked into the rear courtyard of Lin Hanyu's family estate and set fire to the bedroom where she stayed with her husband. Her husband escaped the blaze alive, but Cui Jincheng charged into the burning room, grabbing Lin Hanyu by the ankles to drag her away. The Lin family rushed to put out the fire. Yet once the flames died down, only 2 charred corpses remained inside.